You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, as always, Chase Senior. Hit me up and interact with me on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. Love interacting with the Niner gang, and I hope all of your weeks are going in a fantastic way. They have to be going pretty well with how the 49ers are playing. Let's hop into the latest 49ers news and rumors. We do have a roster move to get to with a pretty notable player who balled out for a couple of seasons after being a second-round pick out of Michigan for the Carolina Panthers. That is Devin Funchess. According to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, 49ers are signing him to the practice squad. And he got off to a really nice start in his NFL career with Carolina. Then he signed on for a season with the Indianapolis Colts last year, tried to play with the Green Bay Packers, dealt with some injury issues, so didn't officially play in a regular season game. And I know a lot of people look at the name and they get excited by this signing, and I think it's somewhat interesting. I'm just not really expecting Devin Funchess to make an immediate impact or maybe any impact at all during the regular season because Kyle Shanahan at his disposal does have a lot of weapons. But let's look into what Devin Funchess was able to do for a 2-year span with the Carolina Panthers, and he was pretty solid for a couple of years before this, and then after that, his NFL career really just tailed off, but he was a productive player as kind of a wide receiver tight end hybrid. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, has excellent size, and in 2017-18, he was really good. 190 targets, 107 catches, almost 1,400 yards during those 2 seasons, and 12 touchdowns. A guy who is a very good red zone threat, but once again, I'm not really expecting him to be a key player with this 49ers offense. Some more news items to get to. Originally in NFL Week 13, it was supposed to be 49ers Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. It is no longer going to be a primetime game. Field Yates with this information out this afternoon. The NFL has flexed Chiefs Broncos into that Week 13 Sunday Night Football slot. Seahawks 49ers has now been moved to 4:25 p.m. Eastern, and everybody can thank the Seattle Seahawks for them being an awful team this year as the reason why this is not going to be a primetime matchup. But we'll still, of course, be doing a watch party for it right here on the 49ers Report, so make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below, subscribe, and join us. The Seahawks are really bad. Russell Wilson, I think he's getting really frustrated with the situation out there with Pete Carroll, ownership, the front office. They did a couple of things to make him a little bit happier in the offseason, like bulking up that offensive line, but that defense, which is supposed to be Pete Carroll's calling card, has been really bad and trending downward the last couple of years. I'm not ruling out that after the year, Russell Wilson is going to demand a trade. We'll keep you updated here, of course, on the 49ers Report. As for the NFC playoff picture, with back-to-back wins and a couple of really good performances in back-to-back weeks for San Francisco, they're right in the thick of things in the NFC playoff picture. The division leaders right now, Arizona Cardinals, after that dominant performance in Seattle over the weekend, number 1 seed in the NFC at 9-2, followed by the Green Bay Packers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers after that win on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants. Dallas Cowboys fall to 4th with that 7-3 record. And then a bunch of teams in the mix here for those wild card spots. Los Angeles Rams, they play Green Bay this weekend. Minnesota Vikings, who the 49ers host this weekend at 5-5. The New Orleans Saints, after that loss to Philly, at 5-5 as well. And then San Francisco currently on the outside looking in. But from here on out, they have one of the easiest schedules of all teams in the National Football League. Let's take a look at the remaining games here. They host the Vikings. They go to Seattle. Week 14 game on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals, a very feisty team. Week 15 against the Atlanta Falcons. And then they round out with these 3 games. A short week on Christmas week, Thursday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans on the road. Week 17 against the Texans. And then they round out the regular season, Week 18 against the Los Angeles Rams. Kyle Shanahan has been Sean McVay's daddy with 5 consecutive wins. Will that be 6? That could be a game that could decide some playoff hopes for either organization. So with that, I ask you this, Niner gang. Do you think the 49ers are going to make the playoffs? Type Y for yes, type N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and get your votes in. Next up on the slate, 49ers injury report, and luckily this year, we haven't had to talk about a bunch of significant injuries. Of course, there have been some. Dre Greenlaw with that groin surgery, Jason Verrett with that torn ACL. Last couple of weeks, it's been Elijah Mitchell, who we discussed a lot after undergoing that finger surgery recently. He's been one of the best rookie players, not just rookie running backs in the National Football League. Not sure if he's going to give it a go or be able to give it a go on Sunday against Minnesota. Kyle Shanahan saying this about a stud rookie running back, quote, "We thought he was going to have a chance earlier in the week, last week, but we could see he just wasn't close by the time we got to Sunday. I'm not going to guess for this week. I know he couldn't go today, so we'll see how he is on Wednesday and just take it day by day." As for Laken Tomlinson, since he hopped on board and joined this franchise back in 2017, he has played and started all 73 games. If the 49ers are without him at left guard, they're going to miss him because this is an offensive line that has really had a momentous past couple of weeks, running the football 40-plus times in back-to-back wins. Suffered an ankle injury on Sunday in that dominant win against the Jags. He is going to be day-to-day, and if he doesn't play, first time he'll never suit up in the red and gold for San Francisco. Shout out to today's sponsor, Fanatics, for making today's show possible. The holiday season is here, folks. Thanksgiving in a couple of days, Christmas, Hanukkah, all of the holidays coming up over the next couple of weeks and months. And right now, Fanatics is hooking you up with 50% off on this 49ers hoodie, but you have to use that link down below, chatsports.com/49ers hoodie. The material is awesome. It's a really high quality hoodie. And it's all brought to you by our partner today, Fanatics. You have to use that link down below for that deal to apply. 50% off. It was once $70, now bumped down to $35, but you have to use that link so that they know that Chat Sports sent you. So after watching the 49ers dominate in the ground game against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday, my mind started to get going and the takes started to flow. And I went back and watched that game, and I understand that Trey Sermon, the third-round pick out of Ohio State, didn't get to play that much. But what I saw from him in that game and what I've seen from him in a short sample size this year, I've been pretty impressed by him. And I don't think that his lack of playing time has anything to do with his lack of ability. I think this guy has pop, and I think him and Elijah Mitchell are going to be the 1-2 punch at the running back position moving forward over some of the veterans on this roster. Raheem Mostert, by the way, the final year of his contract. You take a look at Trey Sermon's numbers this year as a whole, and they're not that great. 41 carries, 167 yards, 4.1 yards per carry, and a single touchdown. But I saw a little bit of ability against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the ground game, but him coming out of the backfield. That wheel route that he ran right before halftime that led to a Robbie Gould field goal was beautiful. And on Sunday against the Jags, I saw a player that does have a lot of potential in an offense for Kyle Shanahan that basically every running back that is a part of this offense ends up going off at some point or another. And I think Trey Sermon is close to breaking out. 10 carries for 32 yards on Sunday. That one catch for 23 yards. A good touch pass by Jimmy Garoppolo. The question for Trey Sermon isn't his ability. You kind of look at what Kyle Shanahan has said about him, and it kind of points to him maybe just not being ready, grasping the scheme. I don't think it also has anything to do with his work ethic, but the wheel route was a thing of beauty. I think it's one of the more underrated plays in the game of football where Trey Sermon, flanked to Jimmy Garoppolo, was able to go out of the backfield to the right, run that wheel route. Linebacker had no chance. Jimmy Garoppolo lofted that touch pass to him, and Trey Sermon was able to pick up yards after the catch. That dual threat nature to Trey Sermon has me very excited about him, and I can sense that Kyle Shanahan starting to get potentially a little bit excited about Trey Sermon as well. He said this the other day. I think he's better now when he was given the last opportunity. I know I get these questions about Trey a lot. He's been doing it each week. He's been earning stuff and improving every week, but there is a pecking order with the backs. You can only give so many guys the football, and I kind of look at this situation like, look, Jeff Wilson, a pretty good story. He has ability as well, but don't you want to see what you have with your former third-round pick out of Ohio State? Big draft capital on this guy, and he's certainly shown some ability. So I think he should play more. I want to see where the fan base is at on this, though. Where's the faithful at? Do you want to see Trey Sermon more? Type M for more, type L for less. Be sure to get those votes in and sound off down below in the comment section and let me know what you're thinking about Trey. Also, give me a follow on Twitter at Chase_Senior. It's actually the same handle on Instagram as well. Love interacting with the Niner gang, and I tweet out all 22 clips, all of the latest 49ers news and rumors, injury reports almost every single week. Everything that happens with this franchise, I'm on top of it. So if you want to stay on top of everything going on with your Niners, yours. Give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_senior. Lastly, Brandon Aiyuk. He has really turned it on over the last month or so, and in a moment, we're going to show you some numbers as to what he did early in the season and what he's done over the last month. The comparison really is pretty crazy because there was all this talk about Brandon Aiyuk being in the doghouse, this guy being in that sophomore slump and possibly bordering on becoming a bust. There was some of that conversation going on the first 6 weeks. Last 4 games, though, he has been excellent, and he has proven to be such a good and lethal number 2 to Deebo Samuel, and I think he has borderline 1 or maybe 1A potential. But the first 6 games, 16 targets as a whole, 9 catches, 96 yards, average yards per catch of 10.5, and 1 touchdown. He has surpassed all of those numbers the last month. 26 targets, 20 receptions, 245 yards, 12.2 yards per catch, and 2 touchdowns. This guy has been a chain mover. He's also been very good in the red zone, as evidenced by the numbers that we'll show you coming up here. Kyle Shanahan speaking glowingly of the former first-round pick from the 2020 NFL Draft. I think BA has been playing at a really high level, he said, the last few weeks in all aspects of the game. Just his physicality in the run game, his physicality when he's got the ball in his hands, and his physicality when the ball is in the air. His game has become a lot sharper. He's not hesitating on anything, and I feel his confidence growing. And you can see the quarterback and his teammates, their confidence growing around him. This is what we know about Kyle Shanahan. Sometimes when you're not on his good side, he's not going to give you run. He's not going to give you tick. And he's going to limit your snaps. He can be a little bit stubborn. He can be a little bit rigid. But we also see that this guy can be an offensive genius. And if you do get on his good side and you show some of those good practice habits and it translates into the game, yeah, he's going to throw the football your way a lot. And in the Kyle Shanahan offense, he asks a lot of the wide receivers, of course, with the jet sweeps, as well as the bubble screens. Most importantly, though, this whole offense is really predicated on the ground game. And because of that, the wide receivers, whether they're lined up inside, lined up outside, they have to be good blockers. And Brandon Aiyuk wasn't showing that in training camp, preseason, or to start the regular season, and I think that's why his production and his snaps were down. He was also dealing with that hamstring injury just a bit, but I did take stock in him just kind of being in the doghouse just a little bit. He has been a very good player in the red zone, and this 49ers offense in the red zone is actually working at a pretty historic rate. Not only are they the most efficient scoring red zone offense in the National Football League, they're one of the best red zone offenses dating all the way back to 2013. So right here on your screen, top red zone touchdown rate since 2013. Basically, this means when you get inside the 20, at what clip are you scoring a touchdown? For the Niners, almost a 78% time, meaning every time they get into the red zone, they're scoring a touchdown at almost an 80 percentile. That's really, really good ahead of the 2019 Titans, 2020 Packers, 2003 Chiefs, and the 2018 Pittsburgh Steelers. George Kittle has been a big part of that. Deebo Samuel, his usage as a running back has helped this red zone offense. The aforementioned Brandon Aiyuk. Speaking of Kittle, this year, 3 red zone targets, 3 touchdowns. That's been a big reason why the 49ers offense has started to found its groove a little bit, found its identity, and finding that form of consistency. And it goes to show you that Kyle Shanahan, very, very good offensive coach. Do you think that Kyle Shanahan is back, and do you like Kyle Shanahan again? There was a lot of Kyle Shanahan slander the first several weeks of the season, but where are you at right now? Do you still dislike him? Type D. If you like him, type L. Let me know right now.